I'm Kim Rossi, and I'm in Santa Barbara, California. We don't have a ton of cool signs, but we have a couple really cool signs. So here it is. Blue skies. You coming? Come on, let's go.
Once upon a time, there were lots of little motels all over Hollywood. There are now just 3 left with their original signs.
Little did I know when I first saw this desert beauty that I would fall in love with it.
So without further ado, here it is.
Oh, hey there.
Hi.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Barkev. I live in Los Angeles. I'm a toy designer and I love vintage signs.
Hi. My name is Rob. I live in Seattle, Washington. My day job is I work in public radio doing fundraising. KEXP, best station in the world.
One of my favorite signs
I always like to say it's the next sign I'm going to shoot. But, you know, for purposes of this video, to actually think of my favorite sign, I would say
is the Holiday Motel sign.
in Las Vegas.
I love it so much.
I absolutely love that sign.
It's whimsical, charming.
I just love it. The colors, it says we're fun, come visit us, stay here, have your holiday here.
I also love how one side of it has completely faded, so it's pink, whereas the other side is red. When I found out the Holiday Motel sign was being removed,
I got myself and my wife.
I called my friend. I was like, what are you doing tomorrow? She was like, what do you mean, why? And I was like, we have to go to Vegas.
We booked a trip to Las Vegas solely to take a picture of that sign and then document all the other signs in Las Vegas that were still around.
We have to take photos of the sign before it's gone. So the next morning I picked her up. We drove from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, took a million photos of the sign. I get very excited when I talk about signs, when I see signs. It's cool. I want more people to love it. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Mars Bravo. Greetings from Los Angeles. I am a sign designer and owner of Signs from Mars Sign Company. I recently had the opportunity to recreate an altered version of the iconic Radio City marquee sign located in New York. I am specifically drawn to the challenges that come with replicating such a large sign into a much smaller scale. For this project, I was able to successfully implement neon elements as well as LED lighting. You guys can check out this sign and the rest of my work on my website, signsfrommars.com. Or you can also find me on Instagram, and my handle is Signs from Mars.
Hi, my name is Mark Stein. I am from Denver, Colorado, and I am a photographer. My favorite sign is the Satire Lounge in Denver, Colorado on East Colfax Avenue. There is so much to love about the sign, from the bright neon martini glass to the bulb arrow, and for that matter, the chasing bulbs. There is just an incredible amount of elements all at work in beautiful color. I've photographed the sign with numerous types of cameras and films, including Polaroid, as well as black and white film. It's an incredible honor to be a part of Signs United. Thank you for having me here at Neon Speaks.
Hi, my name is Marla Zach, and I'm honored to be a founder of Signs United. I live in Burbank, California, and when I'm not out shooting signs, I'm a controller for a law firm, and I also have my own thriving skincare business. I'm absolutely passionate about the Safari Inn sign. It is hands down my favorite. I love the color. I love that fantastic font. I love the spears. I love the shield. I love everything about it. And I am thrilled that they've continued to maintain it meticulously since the 1950s. It is literally walking distance from my home, so I get the opportunity to shoot this majestic beauty as often as I want. My husband Mike and I, fellow Signs United founder, will often just walk up to the corner so that we can shoot the sign because the clouds behind it are so magnificent.
Hello, Signs United. This is Allison of AllisonStudios.com. Welcome to my home studio. Got a lot of things going on here. To answer the question, Will, what is my favorite neon sign? I can't answer. I love them all, even the ones I make up myself. But I'd like to show you this one. This one goes back to the early 80s in South Florida. Many of you will recognize this one, Joe Stone Crab in South Beach, Miami. I painted this This was my very first neon sign. And from there, more recently, I've been able to do a neon sign mixed media installation in South Beach, Miami this past year.
Hi, I'm Fabienne. I'm 63 years old, living in Belgium. I'm a painter and doing some etching too. Very inspired by all what's American vintage, like mom and pop stores and neon signs. I've been visiting Chicago last year and saw this beautiful neon light from LaSalle Flowers. And I also like the style which I'm doing now. So I first make a collage of my own pictures on the for the background. And later on I paint with oil colors now. And I used to paint with acrylics, but I think oil is more brightly more. The paint is so different. I hope everybody stays safe there, and well, see you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Matt Ehrman. I'm from Santa Monica, California, and I'm a sign photographer and a graphic designer. I'm here to talk about this sign to my left, Gallup Mall, located in Gallup, New Mexico, 1 block off Route 66. This place was opened in 1959. I took this picture in about 2005, and what attracted me to this sign, obviously, is just the color, the perfect condition of the neon, you know, the fun shape of the bowling pin. And as far as I know, this place is still active. I looked on their website and they have actually used this photo to advertise on their website. So I'll have to give them a call and see what that's about. Maybe I can get a few free frames of bowling out of it.
Oh, hey there. I'm Rob Croxford. I'm coming to you from my studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm an artist. I've been a full-time artist for 16 years. And my latest focus is on neon signs. I've been collecting the imagery for years, well, decades really, and had no idea what to do with them, and then had a fire and thought, well, now's the time to kind of change it up and see what I can do with these signs. And so what I come across is my new sign language series, which combines old movie quotes with great old signage. My favorite sign is here in Toronto. I'm picking a Canadian one. It's maybe not my favorite one, but it's my favorite Canadian one. And it's the Zanzibar Tavern. Recently, I repainted it, so it looked like this. I used a quote from Field of Dreams, and it's, "If you build it, he will come." It is a strip club. I've never been on the inside of the Zanzibar. I doubt it meets my expectations based on the outside. But either way, it's a fantastic sign, and I love it.
Hi, I'm Chris Rayleigh from Fresno, California. Been a member of Signs United for about 1.5 years now. A couple of my favorite signs. This is Astro Motel in Los Angeles, Culver City on Sepulveda, and this is the Astro Motel that used to stand here in Fresno. My favorite sign of all time. We lost it in 2015. What I like so much about these signs is just the connection to the space race and the space age. I'm a lifelong space nerd, so anything with Astro in it gets my attention. I like this one because this shape reminds me a lot kind of Tomorrowland at Disneyland. I really like the kind of mid-century modern shape. And the Astro Motel here, I like this one because I used to drive by it almost every day.
Hi everybody, my name is Michelle. I live in New Zealand and I'm a graphic designer by trade and an illustrator by passion. I quite accidentally and very recently stumbled into this amazing signage community while doing a virtual tour during New Zealand's lockdown. It was a Tim Burton installation at the Neon Museum, and I found myself pausing this video to get a better look at the signage behind the installation. I was immediately and instantly in love. I decided for my 100-day project that I was going to draw a sign a day and sort of change the message into something I felt we all kind of needed right now. In terms of my favorite sign, very difficult to say because I am not there in person to see these signs for myself. I'm relying on what I find online. Luckily, the most amazing photographers that managed to capture these signs as if I was actually standing right there made the job a lot easier. One in particular stood out. This is not my photo, this is Stephanie, aka Retro Roadside Photo. She took this. I just find it just so beautiful. The colors, the whimsical Western font with the recessed lettering and of course the neon inside and some raised cursive over here, and all put together on a cactus quite literally took my breath away.
So I wanted to take my love for all of this and create something, and that's Merch Motel. I make cool hats, shirts, the Morgan Camera Shop. It's just cool. Old Hollywood, old Los Angeles, Route 66, mid-century design in general. I love it a lot. I take these beautiful signs that I love, these places that I think are so cool, these products, these graphics, try to create more things people can wear, collect, display, get a conversation going about neon signs, vintage signs, this whole world of design that a lot of people are unfamiliar with.
Hello there, my name is Mike Zach. I'm coming to you from my home office here in Burbank, California, where I am a writer-producer for the entertainment, theme park, and educational industries. I'm also a photographer and one of the original co-founders of Signs United. The sign I've decided to talk to you about today is one of my all-time favorites. It's R&R Liquor in Nashville, Tennessee. I didn't know it at the time, but R&R Liquor is actually one of the oldest Black-owned and operated businesses in Nashville, Tennessee, and one of the two surviving businesses that could be found in the Green Book, which provided locations for safe haven sanctuaries for people of color traveling across the country in the 1960s.
Hi Neon Speaks, I'm Joyce Cassis from Palm Coast, Florida, and I've been invited by Signs United to share my favorite neon sign. It is the Stammy swimwear sign that was located in Daytona Beach from 1965 to 2017. And this mannequin was special in that there were only 6 of these mannequins made in the world, and one of them ended up in Daytona Beach. And she was here for 50 years, so she was a local celebrity. And in 2017, when Stammy's went into retirement, the Jansen Company, which is owned by Perry Ellis, decided to take the mannequin back because they didn't want it to end up in a landfill. And when this happened, it caused a local uproar, and a lot of people were upset because our local landmark was missing. And so the Daytona Speedway officials decided that they wanted to bring her back. And they brought her back to a special public art space across the street from the Daytona Speedway. So if you go and visit the Daytona Speedway during the Daytona 500, you could see the Jansen Diving Girl. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of Neon Speaks.
Hi, I'm Nick Ehrlich, the Hickman Professor of Marketing at West Texas A&M University in my hometown, Canyon, Texas, and I am a neon sign junkie. Amboy, California was established in 1883 alongside the berm of the Atlantic and Pacific Railway. When the National Old Trails Road came to town around 1912 and later was designated Route 66 in 1926, traffic changed from locomotives and boxcars to trucks and private cars. In 1938, Roy Crowell opened Roy's along this barren stretch of highway. Eventually, he teamed up with his son-in-law in the 1940s, Buster Burris, and they slowly but surely grew the complex to have everything a traveler could need. The only problem was that it did not have a decent sign. In January 1959, the iconic Roy's sign was hoisted and illuminated for the first time. 5 weeks later, I was born, 2,000 miles away, but destined nonetheless to one day call this iconic sign my favorite of them all. Of the thousands of signs I have photographed and documented across the country, Roy's is my hands-down favorite. It's a sign that has appeared in multiple music videos as well as on the silver screen. It inspired an ad campaign a few years ago by Honda, and it has graced the pages of many a book. Why? Because it stands out so well. Visible for miles across the desert, yet is unassuming and basic to a fault. It got the job done. Pretty simple.
Hi, my name is Ani, and I'm part of the Signs United community. And one of my favorite neon signs is the Vista Theater in East Hollywood. The theater opened to the public on October 9th, 1923, and it has so much beautiful neon. The theater itself is a Spanish colonial revival style, but the interior was inspired by the discovery of King Tut's tomb, so it's an Egyptian revival style. It seats 400 people. It's a single-screen movie theater, and when it opened, they actually showed a lot of vaudeville performances as well. But one of the best parts, especially for a neon enthusiast, is its signage. The marquee has 2 gorgeous green phosphor neon signs that spell out Vista, and in the center is an animated boomerang. And right atop that, on top of the theater, is another much larger neon sign that spells out Vista Theater. Every time when I was younger and I would see that sign, I just knew I was home.
Hi, I'm Alexis Fleissig, and I choose the original Whistle Stop Train Shop in Pasadena, California. I love this sign because it has movement. You see the wheels turning and smoke coming out of the smokestack of the train. It's not often you see movement in a neon sign because they break down fairly often and require a lot of maintenance.
My name is Corky Scholl from Denver, Colorado. I run a neon sign preservation group called Save the Signs. But for my day job, I'm a news photographer for the local NBC affiliate. My favorite sign in Denver is the Pete's Kitchen sign on Colfax Avenue. I love the animation, I love the bright lights, I love the character, I love the flipping pancakes. And to top that all off, it's right next to the Satire Lounge sign, so it just creates a really nice cluster of neon.
Oddly enough, the city of Pasadena considered this sign an eyesore and wouldn't allow them to put it back up.
In the 1970s, Denver made animated signs illegal. And so for the longest time, the sign wasn't animated.
They had a fairly unknown regulation that said that neon signage couldn't have movement and it couldn't protrude from the storefront.
But a few years ago, the owners wanted to see the sign reanimated, so they applied for a variance, which the city happily gave them.
So after a lengthy battle with the city and with the help of the Pasadena Cultural Heritage Foundation, they won and were able to put it back up. And I'm glad because it's a really fantastic sign.
Hi everyone, Kim Rosenberg here, aka Miss Matador. I am standing in front of one of my favorite signs in Toronto, not too far from where I live. I thought I'd bring it to you since our border is closed and we won't be going anywhere anytime soon. This venue has actually quite the history. It was opened in 1964 by Ann Dunn. It was an after-hours dance club. So from 1:30 a.m. until 5:30 a.m. you could come here, cut a rug with the likes of Johnny Cash or Loretta Lynn. Joni Mitchell's been here. Catherine O'Hara, you know, as Miss Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek, also Canadian. And Leonard Cohen used to come by. He also wrote the song Closing Time based on this venue, and he filmed the video for it here as well. Katie Lang has filmed videos here, and most recently Martin Scorsese filmed some of his interviews with Robbie Robertson from the Once Were Brothers documentary.
Seeing these things, they were like totems. When I saw certain signs, I knew where I was in my journey, even as a kid from the backseat of the car. In New York, there was the giant Newport cigarette sign up by the Triborough Bridge. It was animated, the I Love Newport and the I Love New York, with the York and the port alternating in either neon red or neon green. It was absolutely magic. Then I'd go down to Florida and I'd be in the back of Grandpa's car, big sign that said Coppertone welcomes you to Miami. And the Coppertone girl with her little dog pulling her bathing suit up and down. And you couldn't not look at that sign. You had to love it.
Hi, my name is Kathy. I live in Los Angeles and I'm a graphic designer.
This is the Hollywood Downtowner Motel, which was originally known as the Coral Isle. 2 years ago, I was driving by, I saw this crane, and it looked like the sign was coming down, and I was just instantly heartbroken, thinking we were losing yet another mid-century sign. But I talked to the wonderful manager, and it turned out he was restoring the sign. He redid the neon in LED. Those letters are just incredible. He said he was just about to look for a designer, and he asked me to redesign the ovals. Another stroke of luck was finding a matchbook cover on eBay from the sister Downtowner. I was able to bring that script back to the motel in the signage, and we extended the signage and the brand around the motel. So now the Downtowner has a new retro brand in place and is living happily ever after.
My name is Achim Gauger. I live in Vienna, Austria, and I'm a business consultant. I have chosen the AIDA sign near Vienna State Opera for 4 reasons. First, it's a real beauty. Second, it's this kind of neon signage we've nearly lost all here in Vienna during the last 5 or 6 years. Third reason, it's one of 9 different types of AIDA signage you can see here in Vienna at the same time. The oldest one from the early 50s till the newest one from 2019. And the fourth reason, AIDA has started last year to replace their old signage with plastic LED signs. So this beauty will get lost for sure during the next few years.
Hey, this is Beth Lennon. I am from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, and some of you may know me as Maud Betty from Retro Roadmap. I am excited to tell you about one of my favorite signs. How can you pick just one? But the one I have chosen is the neon sign in front of the Pleasant Cafe in Roslindale, Massachusetts. Their sign is what drew me in. It's a lovely, glowing neon sign. It represents everything that happens inside there. It is a pleasant place, both inside and out. Wonderful people who own it. The interior is magnificent. I knew that this was going to be a wonderful restaurant to go to because they took such good care of their neon sign. So to me, when you see a neon sign or any kind of sign that is well loved, you can pretty much guarantee that the people who own the restaurant or the business love their restaurant just as much as their sign.
Hey y'all, this is Dina Mason and I'm in downtown Dallas, Texas. I've been photographing small towns and forgotten places all over Texas for more than 20 years, but this sign is one of my favorites. Most of you may know Pegasus as the symbol for Mobil Oil, but she actually got her start right here in Dallas with Magnolia Petroleum Company. In 1939, Magnolia commissioned a red-winged neon horse for the top of their building, which was the tallest building in downtown Dallas at that time. She was an instant hit and became a beloved landmark for locals and visitors and a symbol for Dallas. But by the 90s, she was in such terrible shape, she was deemed too far gone to be restored, and a new Pegasus was commissioned and placed on top of the building. This Pegasus disappeared for 15 years until she was found in a warehouse, restored, and brought home to downtown. So the next time you're in Dallas, stop by and say hi to our favorite landmark, Miss Peggy.
Hi, my name is Steve Spiegel, and I'm one of the co-founders of Signs United. And like many of us, when asked what's your favorite sign, it's so difficult to choose just one. But the more I thought of it, the more I thought of the sign I go back to again and again, and that's Bob's Big Boy. It opened in 1949 in Toluca Lake. I just love this place so much. Not only for the sign, which is beyond spectacular and huge. The typefaces are amazing and unique, and the colors just pop. But there's so much more neon that grace the building and the parking lot, including one that announces when they have car hop service available. It's like a time machine. According to my friend Adrian Biondo, we almost lost this whole building in the early 90s. It was the efforts of the Los Angeles Conservancy Modern Committee and the architect, Wayne McAllister, convincing the owners that it could be restored and made successful and come back, even though drive-ins had fallen into disfavor at the time. All of that successfully got Bob's declared an official point of historical interest by the state of California. It should be a no-brainer to save historic places like this, but as you can see, it's a lot of work. But it's so worth it because we have this amazing icon with us today.
Hello, my name is Deborah Jane Seltzer, and you probably know me for my website, which is roadsidearchitecture.com, also known as roadarch.com. This was the Hong Kong Inn. So the top panel was replaced 1 or 2 days ago. This is early August, for a Mexican restaurant, which is going to open soon. Okay, so what's special about this sign? It is a combo sign of plastic and neon. The lower part has neon on the letters. The top part was a plastic panel which read Hong Kong Inn. Plastic signs are very much in danger. When the restaurant first closed about 4 or 5 years ago, I made a bunch of calls to see if anybody would take it, because they were going to take it down, and nobody wanted it. All the museums didn't want it because it's mostly plastic. So this time around, it's staying in place with this adaptation. So I leave it to you to make the subjective decision about whether it is better off staying where it is and being changed, or whether it would have been better to have it taken down and be part of someone's collection with the original panel.
Hey all, I'm Gisela Holscher from St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm a photographer, graphic designer, and digital artist. I'm here in Minneapolis along the Mississippi Riverfront to show you my favorite sign. It's located at the Mill City Museum. I think it's pretty obvious why it's my favorite sign. Not only is it huge and animated, it's actually double-sided. This is the side that faces St. Paul, and you can actually see it in St. Paul. It's that prominent on the Minneapolis skyline. It's also the last sign along the riverfront to not be converted to LED. Fun story about the sign, I actually reached out to the Mill City Museum to let them know that a couple of the letters were out, and I wasn't expecting to get a reply, but not only did I get a reply, they encouraged me to continue to reach out if I saw any other malfunctioning letters, especially in the spring and summer. They're not in their offices when the sign comes on in the evening because sunset is later, so I kind of felt like a little sign superhero. So I love this sign and I want to see it lit and neon for a long, long time.
My name is Gretel and I'm a tour guide. And thanks to one of my groups who visited my country and was here with me, I was able to find my passion also for the restaurant neon signs. The one I want to show you is right here in the corner of 17th and 12th. And it's the Varsovia restaurant, the one that belongs to this place, probably here since the 1960s. So the sign is not so old, but probably the place was here before with a different name. It's a shame that today is not a functioning restaurant and it's really abandoned, so I hope that with this video somebody will have the interest to restore it and maybe bring the place back to life. What I think is very special about it is the beautiful letters it has. Colors, it's kind of rusty too, and it's just amazing with this architecture of this building. We're very close to the cemetery of Havana. The place is abandoned, but hopefully that will change in the future.
Hi, my name's Carl Vervish and I live in Tampa, Florida. I'm an illustrator with a background in advertising. I actually owned my own advertising agency for just over 10 years. Vintage signs are a major influence in my artwork, and I draw a lot of inspiration from 1950s and 1960s design and architecture. My favorite sign and my favorite sign story come from the Caribbean Motel in Wildwood Crest, New Jersey. My wife and I took a trip to Wildwood to see all the beautiful neon signs in that area, and when we walked up to the Caribbean to get a closer look, we wound up getting to meet the owner. She was extremely passionate and knowledgeable about the doo-wop design and architecture that is featured all around Wildwood. And it was really a treasure to get to meet her. It really struck me how important it is to have such an advocate, not just for her own property, which they've been restoring since 2004. It looks immaculate, but for the whole community.
When I was shooting this sign, all of a sudden there was a guy standing behind me. You know, this happens, right? Old grizzled guy. And he looked at me with a look of concern and asked if I was going to buy that sign. And I said, no, sir, a sign like this really should remain in place. It's a gorgeous sign. He all of a sudden completely relieved. We talked for a while, got his life story, local, grew up in the community, really, really cool guy. And as he was saying goodbye, he said to me, he goes, you know, that sign is 70 years old. And then he added, you know, I'm 70 years old too. This guy was not the business owner, but the sense of pride that he had in that sign, in that community, you know, like us, every sign has an interesting and unique story. And I think that's one of the main reasons I'm really drawn to them.
And I think the signs have a powerful way of pulling at nostalgia and making you feel like I'm the person that I really wanted to be.
I grew up on Long Island, not far from a place called Hildebrandt's Ice Cream Parlor. It is the single greatest neon mid-century storefront in America today. And if seeing a sign like that doesn't make you appreciate and love these things, nothing will. And it's at risk, sadly. And that's why this group and our group is so important. These things can be saved if people know about them, if people fall in love with them, if people appreciate them, it can be saved.
Since we're losing all of our neon, I'm using it artistically as a subject in my artwork to make an artistic statement about ourselves, our society, our culture, who we are, and where we're going into the next century and the next millennia.
I'm hoping more people can look at this and be like, whoa, old signs are cool, old signs are awesome. Yes, they are. More people need to love it.
This is one of my favorite signs, and to all the people out there collecting these pictures or preserving these signs, or the museums or the neon vendors, thank you, and let's preserve these treasures as best we can.
Once I made this sign back in March of last year, I was actually able to take it to the site of the original location, the original sign, and I held it up and I took a picture. For a brief moment, that sign returned to its rightful place alongside the freeway, and now I'm keeping this one safe here at my house. It'll never get torn down.
Let's keep on finding those signs and share them with the world, shall we?